First panel discussion on the topic plugging on academic and industry gaps. We are privileged to have Mr. Manmohan Malik, partner at Positive Momentum and founder of enrichingyou.in, moderating this discussion. Yes, Mr. Malik has over 30 years of experience spanning leadership roles at American Express, Oryx India and Cox & Kings. Mr. Malik brings unparalleled expertise in leadership development, HR transformation and executive coaching. Joining Mr. Malik on stage are 6 eminent panelists. Mr. Govind Singh Negi, founder and CEO of Incredible Places. Mr. Negi brings more than 25 years of HR leadership experience. His work in transforming workplace cultures at 3 Pillar Global and through his HR Success Stock platform has been groundbreaking. We have Mr. Alvin David, Senior General Manager HRD at Newgen Software. He's a TEDx speaker and Top 100 Leader awardee with more than 25 years in talent management. His work in organizational psychology has shaped HR practices across industries. We have Harshraj Jain, Head of Talent for APAC and America at Ebix Engg. He's a LinkedIn top voice with more than 20 years in global talent strategy. His expertise in campus recruitment and diversity initiatives is widely recognized. Next, we have Ms. Gunjan Mishra, Head of HR at RNF Technologies, is a dynamic HR strategist with more than 17 years of experience in talent management, HR automation, and building future-ready workplaces. Next, we have Mr. Rohan Kumar Sudhan, AVP Campus and Early Engagement at WNS. He's an IIM Calcutta alumnus and award-winning campus hiring innovator with more than 14 years of experience in bridging academia-industry divides. Let's give our distinguished panel a warm welcome as they share their invaluable perspectives on creating meaningful synergies between education and industry. Over to you, Mr. Malik.
Am I audible? Yes, I think it's working now. Good morning, all of you. Good morning. That's fine, yeah, thanks. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your introduction. And wonderful to be here at this beautiful campus. Very, very impressed in the morning with the kind of runaround we got here, the kind of showdown, we got here by Professor Harsh. Not just the infrastructure, I think we saw the entire holistic side of it, as ma'am mentioned some time back. We saw the spiritual lab and not just the high-tech, the quantum physics lab, etc. and all those great things to be here. And I think you are very privileged to be a part of such an institution, right? And also today, the opportunity to discuss under this first SWADHYAY a very, very important topic, which is plugging the industry and academic gap. This is a very critical subject. I think this is a kind of a challenge and an opportunity both. Don't you think so? It's a challenge, but an opportunity again at the same time. And really, because if you look at it honestly, does the curriculum really fully address the potential that it carries, right? And at the same time, does the industry feel that they're able to leverage the best in class or the world class or let's say cutting edge knowledge that institutes like VIPS provide to students? So there is a gap that we think is perceived or is it real, but the gaps exist. And that is what we're going to try and discuss today and dissect today, right? Leaving apart the unemployable situation that somebody spoke about some time back, if you look at these gaps, they actually result into lack of innovation and resulting further into stunted economic growth and also lack of actually addressal of societal issues, because if the gaps remain, the gaps do remain. How do we address them, right? So we have to talk about the brass tacks here and see if we can get to the heart of the matter and see how we can unravel this code and crack the code somehow. Okay? So shall we get to the heart of the matter right away? And I promise on your behalf, all your students, where I see a lot of eager faces, high anticipation as to what this panel is going to unravel for all of us. Promise to ask some uncomfortable questions, if that's okay with you, because we're all waiting for the answers. Yep. All right, so let's get going. My first question, if I may ask Harsh, sitting right at the corner, would you like to address? See, the fundamental reason of the institutions to be in place is that their mission is to impart knowledge, right? Their mission is to impart knowledge and do some knowledge creation and its dissemination. So what do you think could be the core reason or the biggest disconnect that the skills and the knowledge taught in academia and the demands in industry have? There is a disconnect somewhere. So in your opinion, can you just share some light, your perspective on that?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Me and Govind were talking in the morning when we were having a tour by Sir, Mr. Juneja. So, what I observed, so I was discussing with Govind, so it's a live example. So when we went into one of the experiencing labs, so there was a board which mentioned that they are our elite and prestigious industry partners. Have you seen it? There are a lot of names of the organization companies. Yes or no, guys? Who have been at the campus and who have hired in people. Alongside, on the left hand side, there was a board which talks about a lot of accolades which you have got in terms of internship. Do you understand the word internship? Yes? Now, surprisingly, on the left side of the board, whatever you see that people have got the opportunity with internship, and on the right hand side, the company who have been hired, none of the internship has converted into a full-time opportunity. Do you understand that? Why? Is the question which has been asked. So I'm quoting an example so that you can resonate and you can relate to it. And this is very, very important. So everybody talks about industry, academia, gap and all. So it's all about, since morning we have been talking about curiosity, to know something. But it's not about knowing something, it's all about executing as well. And that's very, very important. There lies the gap. Now, when an opportunity is given to a person as a part of an internship program, be it, lengthening it to 30 days, 60, 90 or 180 days or whatever. Now that return on investment which is not converging into a full-time opportunity. There are certain gaps, the company may not have the opening or the opportunity as they may have for intern. There are companies who are curious to know that yes, these interns are a testament with zero commitment to each other and this can convert into a PPO, right? Pre-placement offers. The third thing is the kind of skill which they're looking for a person who is hired as an intern for a short time person alongside with someone who's been hired on full time may be different. However, as we have been talking about, it's all about experiential shift, isn't it? So whatever you start as your base in terms of your internship program, it's an experiential journey. And you are just holding up that base very strong. And when that base has been built in all together, it's just a matter of building a triangle. Have you seen a triangle? I'll give you an example to make you understand better. It is giving you a firm base. And there are two slanting lines. Do you agree? Yes? And two slanting lines are the slopey edge, right? Wherein all you have to do is you have to be consistent. And when you're consistent, so it's not about an exception that, on a slopey surface you can balance yourself. For how long? You have to be consistent and you have to just wall up yourself to the next level. And you should not become complacent, holding up this thought that you know everything, because the edges which are combining in those two, slanting lines will pop you and will blast you and will put you on the ground. And that's very, very important. And that's the base and the fundamental of you understanding the gap between industry and academia. And that's very, very important to understand. That's my submission, Mac.
Do you think there are also challenges around delays, etc., on the academic research sides, and then the industry application of it?
See, we have a lot of expectation from the academia. So I little bit dejected from here. See, all the expectation cannot be from the student. We emphasize more on internship. And since 2 years, we have been running a program, successfully running a program called as externship, where we teach the faculty members, believe you me, right? Because talking and storytelling is easy, but what you practically experience in, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, बात करना आसान है, करना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि वो यहीं तक ना रह जाए, practically on the ground is important. So, you know, all the expectation should not be from the student or academia. There is equally a reciprocation which has to be from the industry, and industry, my colleagues would agree here, have started to realize, you know, during COVID times, there were a lot of think tank which happened, and there was a lot of implementation which is happening in. So even the industry is also taking a lot of initiative to upskill in their faculty members. And what we do, I'll give you an example so that we can relate to walk the talk. During the summer break of the faculty members, or during the December winter break, we call them up. There's a 5 to 10 days industrial program and all. What we emphasize on is, because it is more on the day scholar ecosystem, so we call them up and we just try to show them what exactly we are doing in, what exactly is the expectation, how you can just build in and can put this into a build factory, that you can put this into the curriculum, so that our ratio of hiring should be on the knock. And that's very important. So I just use the word externship. Why? Because the kind of exposure, it should not be limited to the classroom. It should experience into the boardroom. Because they need to sizzle it well. You know, that textbook, that spreadsheet should not be, you know, limited to boardroom. That has to be on the lecture room as well. And they should know that. And that's very, very important. Believe you me. Because, you know, at the end, it's all about talking. No, it's all about implementing as well. आप एक hard disk में कितना data upload करोगे, आप बताओ. एक पॉइंट आएगा, उसका स्पेस खत्म हो जाएगा ना, सो यू हैव टू अपलोड, डाउनलोड, इट्स अ रिवर्स साइकिल, एंड दैट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ गेम ऑफ अ वॉलीबॉल. समझते हैं आप, राइट? मैंने थ्रो किया, आपने वो एक्शन होल्ड बैक नहीं किया, यू आर नॉट ऑन पॉज, आपने क्या किया, यू रिवर्स इट बैक. सो इट्स अ रेसिप्रोकेशन, एंड दैट्स वेरी सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड. थैंक यू.
Yeah, thank you, Harsh. That was a good one, a good analogy you gave about volleyball. So it's all about how fast you can bring into application. So that's where the essence of the whole issue lies. Do you think it's also applicable to all, streams across? Particularly, I'm talking about engineering students here. Any different aspect about the engineering students' background, or you think it's the same applied across?
Govind can add to it. Why not?
So first of all, just to touch upon what you said, and I'll move to the question that you have asked. I believe that an institution is not only supposed to produce students to go to the corporate world. There are other responsibilities that an institution or university has. They have to do research work just to make sure that there is a lot of thought leadership coming inside. So as a corporate, we always see the placement side of it, right? We always see, okay, how many students are getting placed. But if you look at a lot of research work that is going on behind it, and today, Mr. Harsh was showing us the NVIDIA, supercomputer. We have quantum lab that we have seen. Well, I don't know. In my life, I worked in IT companies. I've never seen a supercomputer and quantum lab myself, right? So this is the opportunity that students are getting. Now, if you say whether in the interview I'm going to ask them whether have you seen a supercomputer, I will never ask this. Then the question will be, what's the relevance of an institution showing this to the students? Because it is an exposure. This is a research that institution has to do, because there is a thought leadership that has to come. Well, all that thought leadership might not convert to practice also, right? Because when you are doing a research, when you're bringing a thought leadership, some thought might not, convert to something that you can apply. Now, coming to the specific question that you have asked about engineering, I think there will always be part of the, curriculum that might not be used in the corporate world that you go, right? And I think that lies true for almost every stream that I have seen. Corporates have a very different expectation from the students. And I can tell you one thing, I know the topic today is to how to bridge the gap between industry and academia. I can tell you this gap will never be filled, ever. And it's a very simple logic behind this. The industry is today here. And I'll tell you, academies are doing a pretty good job nowadays. Even the academics and industry both are doing very good job of bridging this gap. No doubt, as compared to what I've seen in the past. Both sides are doing their efforts. But this gap will never be filled. Today we are here. Industry is here, academia is here. Now, you don't expect industry to stay here, right? All the time. The moment academia will come here, industry will be there. then you're always trying to chase that stuff. I'll give you an example of artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I and Hemant were talking about it just at the tea break right now. So we have the ML, artificial intelligence and data science students that are passing out from VIPS right now, right? Those students are getting passed out. And when they are planning to go to the corporates, now industry has a very different vision of how they think AI and ML, and very different vision of how students see AI and ML. So when irrespective of the hard work done by an institution, they have at least made the student ready that the corporates are willing to accept them in a way that they will learn. So the whole thing they have learned during the engineering process might not be something they will be using in corporate. So Manmohan, to answer your question, I think this gap of industry and academia will always be there. And not all the things that they're learning, even in engineering, might be the same that will be implemented there.
While you're saying something, is I think very, very relevant, but I think this forum is trying to kind of explore ways if we can try and plug these gaps and try and create an ecosystem which becomes more responsive. I understand, what you said, and I think we all probably understand somewhere. But I think we need to have there's a need to create better ecosystem which is more responsive towards what's happening concurrently. So moving to Alvin, I don't know if you call yourself Alvin or Alvin? Alvin, okay, Alvin. So you are the India head for the campus recruitment for NewGen as well as the talent management head. My curiosity to ask you is, how do you see this evolving over the next he's talked about the current issue, and of course he's predicted certain momentum about it. Do you have an idea as to, you want to share, so how do you see this evolving over the next 5 years? What's the landscape you're looking at?
You're referring to the industry academia collaboration?
Yeah, and the recruitment space and all that, yes.
So I think one of the things that I have realized, that industry and academia collaboration needs to move beyond optics. By optics, I mean, these events like these should not happen once in a year and should not happen with so many cameras also. We should really focus on the content, and we should probably have a handful of students who are very, very keen on absorbing what needs to be done. We need to have some serious dialogue in terms of what is it that they want to do. As Govind very rightly pointed out, trust me, after COVID, one thing all of us have discovered, that none of us know what's going to happen. And industry is very happy and have acknowledged that fact. And same is true. So whenever we are hiring a lot of you in our corporates, we are actually hiring you that together we will discover something. So there are no experts. And I think the kind of thing that we have done at NewGen Software Technology with regards to user experience forum is, we have started intervening and started participating while they are working on curriculums. And that's not the only thing where we have stopped. We have even asked the faculty members to come to us and also teach our folks about what is happening in update. So there's a two-way collaboration that is happening. And we are allowing students to discover along with us for the next age problems that we are working on. And trust me, faculty can be enriched and expanded to a certain extent. You cannot really lean on faculty all the time. I feel for faculty, the kind of changes that we have spoken about since morning, the kind of changes that are happening, none of us, and that's the beauty of the education at this point in time, that we are happy that we'll discover together. So that's the reason we need not focus on one aspect of what is there in the curriculum, Mac, if we want to talk about. There got to be things that you got to really look beyond curriculum and beyond your faculty. There is so much of content. You're always on the reel. You can really look for those kind of things. You should create those in-house discussion hubs, hobby clubs, wherein you're discussing about those areas that are coming. I think these are a couple of things that have worked wonders for us.
I think this is a wonderful point that you brought about, and I have actually a specific question pertaining to that. But before I get to that particular question, I want to kind of elaborate this slightly more. Do you see, Alvin, do you see any emerging trend while we say, okay, what's going to happen over the 5 years, but do you see any emerging trend as we speak right now going towards bringing about this change or the shift moving forward?
See, I think one of the things we have figured out in terms of there are incubation centers that we all have heard about, which has been established in corporate, but there are no two-way interaction that have been well established. In sense, the emerging trend is in terms of internships. We have started engaging students not only who have done third year, we started engaging students from first year itself. So I think those are the things that are coming into. So we have moved beyond technology. We were discussing while we were having coffee that today I'm not really looking to hire an engineer or an MBA. We are probably looking to hire people who are problem solvers. And anybody can be a problem solver. And technology per se, I don't know how much can technology teach. As the previous panel people were also from beyond technology, and anybody can contribute to anything thanks to the low-code platform that even the non-tech graduates are expected to code. So I think those are the things, the multidisciplinary approach, multi-exposure in terms of various functions that in the organization, you never know what you will find out in an individual strength or the potential that you can discover.
That's wonderful to hear. It's very heartening that you said that you're trying to bring about a change where you're starting with first-year students onwards. I think that's very, very heartening. Just one small add-on to that. Do you think the advent of technology is also helping there? Is there more use of AI, VL, ML in the recruitment side?
I really don't think so. And I'm not really looking for hiring any AI ML. You may create someone AI and plus XL, AI plus XXL, all those things will keep coming, but I don't know whether we have a faculty to teach that. AI and ML has been learned while on the go, while working on a problem and discovering all that. So there's no faculty. So I don't think so. Technology, as I said, we are focusing on people who can really think creatively, who can be open to attempt any problem that is in front of them and can apply themselves well. And those are the attributes, and that's the reason the attributes that recruiters are looking for are beyond hardcore as well, in terms of do you have a curiosity. The word curiosity is a hard technology or hard attribute that we started looking for.
Wonderful. All right, so something that's still very relevant and I'd like to bring about to table now is actually the collaboration piece between the academia side and the industry side. So Govind, if I was to come back to you one more time on this particular piece, and I'm very keen to hear your views because you run the incredible workplaces, organization. So in your opinion, what do you think are the main obstacles, if any, that you feel are existing in the collaboration piece between the two sides?
Yeah, and I think there are gaps from both the perspective, Manmohan, if I say that. When you go to colleges and university, let me start from there. There are very few colleges and universities that are really serious about producing the quality of the students. And that's where I think the first gap of this collaboration. Because when you, like all of us are from corporate, I don't think any of us would like to hire a student that is not able to solve the problem, that is not good in soft skill, that is not even good in what he has learned in the academia. So many a times I have seen while interacting with the academia side, they are more focused on the number of placement they could do, the brand they can get associated with when they are placing their student. But I think the real thing comes when these university and institutions are started focusing more on the quality they can bring to their students. I think that's where the whole landscape of collaboration will change, because colleges are not looking for numbers. Even if I want 5 people, I need those 5 people to be very smart. So that's one concern that I see from the academia side. Again, from the corporate perspective, so this is the gap that I see from that perspective. The corporate one, we also have some targets in our head. Right, and again, as not all institutions are same, similarly not all the corporates are same. So many a times the corporate has their own targets. So the targets that we have is that we want to hire superstars, but we want to pay salary of an average performer. So even if any company that goes with a package of, let's say, I don't know, I just don't want to quote, but let's say 4 lakh rupees. They want the top of the psychometric test, they want the top of this and top of that and top of this. How that will be even possible, right? So this connection is not able to build. Again, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning, is that I do see that both the sides are making efforts. Despite of these differences, both the sides are making their efforts. What I don't see is that everybody making those efforts at this point in time. And it could be also because of the management from both the sides. The management of the institution have a particular objective to achieve, right? It could be their own objective. As I said, very few are quality focused. And the corporates have their own objectives to achieve. So I think somewhere in the between we need to bring those together. So these are the challenges I see, the differences of what they want in particular.
Absolutely, I think you're spot on. So thank you for that answer. But I want to kind of bring this a little more forward. Do you see any misalignment of expectations either side? When I say misalignment of expectations, I mean, what about things like, are you facing any barriers in sharing of knowledge across any concerns about academic research being shared further? Any concerns there that come up during any conversations?
Yeah, I'll give my 2 cents, and then because Gunjan said that she wants to answer that, so I'll give it to her. There are a lot of barriers there, and there are a lot of differences, and there are a lot of misalignment. You have seen many a times corporate, as corporate we always say that academia is not ready for what we want to produce. If you really put academia here, they will say the same thing. They will say the only thing is they get less chance to sit here, more chance to sit there, but if the academicians will be here, they will tell you 5,000 things that the industry should do. And I'm telling you, going to give you an example of, and I will pass on to Gunjan. I run this community called HR Success Talk. And 3 years back, because all of us used to go to the panel, like all of us, right? And I think majority of us are part of the community. And we used to say the same thing, like, okay, academy need to do this to, reach to the industry. And one day on the coffee we were talking and said, like, we always tell them to do something. What are we doing? We need to also do something, right? It's not aapki taali dono haathon se bajegi, ek haath se to bajegi nahi. Just because they don't get the chance to tell this on your face, that doesn't mean that they don't have things to tell. That's where we started this vertical called college collaboration, where we're collaborating with colleges. But now, cutting the story short, what I'm saying is that from both the sides, there are very huge difference of expectation mismatch. When I speak with academia, and you spoke about research, I have heard many times that the organization at the top says, yeah, we want to support academia in the research work. When they literally go to the corporate and say, hey, can you help us in the research work? Either in the form of providing access to your infrastructure, or in terms of providing access to your leadership to have conversation, or to give a financial support, they always take this, hands back.
I was coming to the financial support piece as well, but I'm glad you touched on it already.
Yeah, and so I think then we have to walk the talk is another thing. And industry has a lot of pain area, and I think we should do some sessions where the industry has hit this side, and then we should listen to them what challenges they are facing.
Absolutely.
But I know Gunjan wanted to say something, so.
Most of the points have already been covered by Govind, so he's the one who always steals the show. But before I actually answer this, last row mein jo log baithe hue hain, I've always heard if 2 women are sitting together, 2 females are sitting together, they cannot, keep their mouth shut. But I think the other way around. 2 guys are sitting and they're not, they've been continuously talking. So guys, if you're here, please utilize this opportunity for us to answer your questions. You may be inquisitive about certain things. Please feel free to ask us. We did not get these opportunities when we were back in our colleges. So if this is the opportunity, utilize it at the best if you can. Last row. Why don't you guys, switch off your phones and exchange it like Amulya said earlier. Ek dusre ko de do. Switch off karke dena so that they cannot check your Instagram stories and personal messages, but do it. At least pay little attention right now. Okay? Right. So, to continue what Govind said, I think the challenge is again expectations and reality. Organizations ki expectations hai, aao aate hi shuru kar do. But they don't want to put in any effort as in to train those freshers, interns, by not even giving internship opportunities. Similarly, industries, academia ko lagta hai ki now, we have signed this MOU with this company. Now it is their responsibility to, hire our folks. Why? There's nobody is doing charity here, neither the academia nor the industry. So we have to come on a ground wherein both the parties are helping each other in terms of, to bridging the gap what the industry and what academia have from each other. So that's very important. That is something we need to understand. And Govind has already covered most of the points. Ki kya challenges hain? Organizations should come and offer their time to students. वो किसी भी form में हो सकता है. Like what we are doing is also one of the same thing, right? We are here. I was supposed to be in the office, but I'm here so that I can try to fill this gap little bit. Similarly, आप लोगों को भी, students also need to put in efforts to ask us questions, to be connected with HR or LinkedIn, and be whatever questions you have and you think you should know before you actually go for an interview or go and join any corporate. Please list down and use the opportunity. So this is it from my end. Harsh.
Please, yes.
So both of the guys.
Hear me out. Okay.
अभी
So,
इनको भी बोलना आपके बाद.
अच्छा, रोहन भाई,
We
एक
want to hear you,
मिनट.
of course, yes.
So guys, what we are talking here, ठीक है, I'm not the moderator, just to simplify this, पता क्या है? It's all about the speed and the efficiency. पता क्या होता है बहुत बार? It's all about that, we are working with lot of tight, very tight deadlines, which you may not know. जैसे phone पे होता है ना, you may not know virtually what is happening at the other side. Likewise, we would not know what is happening at the other side. So it's all about speed and efficiency. What we feel is, we work with tight deadlines, and that's the expectation. Wherein, we work on a very practical format. So let's say for your research, when you're doing for research, you have been provided with a lot of time and flexibility. Wherein industry feels that you are too slow. I'm sorry, but just telling you the context. And, the academia feels we are too demanding. The balance between that speed and efficiency. So that is my submission.
Yeah, and just the thing I wanted to add was Gunjan brought a very important point that we normally miss. We actually talk about industry and academia, but I think there is a very important pillar, which is basically students. And if you ask me, I have, in the whole corporate world, I have heard majority of the institutions saying that our students do not pay attention to, so institution does their best of the best to serve to the students. But I don't have the answer to what I'm going to say, but I'm just throwing this one. They always say that the students are not taking or taking the best advantage of the facilities and the faculties that is available. I think that part also need to be worked on, that how do we make sure that our students see value in it. I'm not blaming the students, because I believe that somewhere the reason somebody is not interested in a particular thing, Manmohan, is because they don't see a value in it, right? So when the moment they start seeing value in what happens, right, it is basically a pull strategy than a push strategy, right? We always say, aaj ek conference hai, all of us will be sitting in this one. This is I would say, a very push strategy that you have to be here, otherwise aapka attendance nahi lagega. The pull strategy is more like, does students really believe that the people sitting here in this table and the conversation they are going to do, that is actually they will never ever find. And Gunjan is very correct. In my time when I was student, I have never got this opportunity. We were always thinking of study, marks leke aane, that's it. Nobody actually made us interact with this industry to tell ki corporate life lagne wali kaise hai. So I think kahin na kahin wo value shayad hum nahi dikha pate to our student, and that is precisely reason wo gap create hona shuru hota hai. So I wanted to introduce the third pillar in this conversation, which is also student, which we don't talk much about, and I don't have all the answers because it's a very new generation, so they think very differently.
No, absolutely. And I think that is the reason I call academia as an academy, not academic side. An academia is where students are part of the whole system. And thank you for highlighting that, Govind. And Gunjan, since you brought about this whole, side of it, that the students also need to leverage the industry side. So my question actually to you now, to just build this further, how can this also be a role reversal? Can industry also leverage the expertise that the students bring? And how can we, if there's any way, create a mutually equitable and rewarding partnership both sides, where the industry also leverages the expertise that the students bring?
So of course, industries can definitely leverage this by maybe giving them short-term projects, maybe by offering internship. There are a lot of organizations, what they're following is right now, they outsource their short projects to college students. And by this, students are getting hands-on experience, and at the same time, organizations are getting their work done at no cost, almost at no cost. So it's a win-win situation for both the parties. But what Govind just said, I'll just, come back to the previous discussion that we were having. Again, these two guys, I would definitely want to know your names.
Excuse me, I'll just close this door. It's distracting to me. It's very distracting to me. Yeah.
So I think attention to detail and utilizing the moment and opportunity is what student needs to focus on. That is one. Now it's a matter of demand and supply. There are so many college students are completing their graduation, BTech every year. How many opportunities are there? What is making you what is there which is making you stand out from the crowd? Right? So coming back to the main point, yes, I think by offering short projects, as I mentioned, internships, and maybe making them part of the live projects that they are working on, I think industry organizations can definitely utilize their skills.
Absolutely. Just, please.
Sorry to interrupt. One more example, Mr. Juneja is sitting here. We call this word as professor of practice. He's from the industry and now he's leveraging his services to academia. So we are here for a very short term, so utilize his presence. Come on guys, this is a live example to add up to what we are talking here. Seriously. I mean, that's really good. बहुत बार क्या होता है, हम वो चीज़ value नहीं करते. बहुत कुछ short term वाला होता है, उसको बोलते हैं अरे wow, this is good. No. It should be, and he can give you a lot of insights. Believe me, I was so fascinated. मैं आपको honestly बताता हूँ, मैं अपने phone में लगा हुआ था, WhatsApp पे ना office के calls और messages reply कर रहा था. The moment he gave the example of his mother, it showed about the curiosity to knowing. आप सोचो उस age में वो curiosity and she wants to know. And it's not ending in what she wants to know. She wants to know and she wants to execute it. जैसे example दिया, green button किसका है? यार knowing तो सबको होता है ना. It's all about what is written here. It's all about that we are highlighting it and we are making the font bigger to make it more viable and visible to you so that you can implement it. And that's very important for you to understand. And this is what we are talking about. Thanks.
Thank you, Harsh. So, Gunjan, we were talking about how industry can leverage the academic side. Do you think there's also an opportunity for incentivization to the industry to become a part of the curriculum development here?
Of course, what we're doing is one of the same thing right now. Why not?
So actual curriculum development, right? And also, what about trying to create some sustainable loops of feedback that, things are working or not working, some sort of feedback mechanism?
From an organization's perspective?
to the academic side and the vice versa.
So it's a continuous practice.
Building a bridge here, right?
So I think I've spoken about it multiple times in the past events also. It has to be an ongoing practice. It cannot be a one-time affair in a year. Like these conclaves, like these one-on-one discussions, mentorship, mentee-mentor programs should happen more often. Like I said earlier also in few of past events. And usko industry and academia both of them needs to utilize it too. It's not ki academia has called in people, now HRs are coming and you have to be part of this discussion. So that interest also has to come from students too. Because jo knowledge di, agar unko koi interest hi nahi hai, they've just been asked to sit forcefully here. So they're not really learning anything from us. They probably know, hame sab pata hai, ChatGPT is probably going to answer these questions as well for them. Because technology is evolving, so the AI, so are Gen Z. So that interest has to come from within, and at the same time, they should equally participate. They should equally ask questions also. जो भी knowledge हमारे पास है, we can always give, but then we don't know what kind of questions do they have until they ask us. So it's very important for them also to come up with questions and their inquisitiveness, and so that we can probably answer and maybe make it beneficial for them to make them maybe future ready.
Can I give some examples of exactly the incentives?
Of course.
So Manmohan, there are actually, first of all, there has to be incentive for industry to go to the academia and also collaborate with them. But I'll tell you, there are examples and things that actually exist today. Let me start with one by one. So there are apprentices program by government, right? And government says that I'm going to pay certain percentage of the money that you are supposed to pay to the apprentice from my own pocket, as long as you are making sure that you are hiring those apprentices. So that's first incentive. And if any organization like Elvin's, if they
they take this scheme seriously, there's a lot of money that industry can save. That's point number one. Point number two, I think the last budget or last to last budget, the government announced, and I don't think many people heard it properly, government announced that, just to give you a context, that companies who earn a certain amount of profit need to give CSR, 2% of their revenue in CSR. Government said, you can use this money to hire apprentices, but they actually put some cap for a certain level of companies. But imagine the amount, anyways company need to give CSR. Now if I have to give a CSR of 10 CR in a year, and if I'm getting apprentices, it's free for me, right? It's an incentive, direct incentive for industry. And other thing for the individual, right? And Harsh gave an example of another Harsh being professor of practice. Looks like Harsh praising Harsh.
Harsh means happiness.
Yeah. So I think the professor of practice is a great incentivization for the industry. And again, kudos to, I don't know, UGC or whoever is the education body who does it, right? It is an opportunity for people like us to go. Now, incentivization is always seen in terms of financials, but I think incentivization is also in terms of what you want, right? अगर आप वो pyramid देखोगे तो एक self actualization भी होता है. We feel good coming here and sharing our knowledge because we feel that we have given something back to the student. It is an incentive for me. But there are financial incentives also when you become a professor by practice. So what I wanted to say, yes, there has to be incentive. And I'm saying there are various ways by which these incentives exist today. It's just that industry need to make best out of those incentives. And one last, and the most important, because of that benefit, the Elvins-like job exists. Freshers are the most important profit that a company can get. Alvin can talk more about it if he wants to, but a fresher will give you the highest gross margin ever. If you don't know, you should know. Companies do not come to hire you for your benefit, they come to hire you for their own benefit. If they are paying you $10, they're going to charge $100 from the client. They're going to make, I don't know, $90 out of you, right? Same time, now I'm going to say all that thing today. Same time, if they're going to hire a one-year-old experienced person, they might pay $50. Imagine, which company doesn't want $90 as compared to $50 profit? I want $90 profit. So I should go to a fresher, but I'll go to the college is also important. I'll go to a college where the students actually have, if not 1 year experience, very close to 1 year experience person's intelligence and attitude and problem solving ability.
So we're going to come to that piece in a while. Rohan hasn't spoken at all. So Rohan is now over to you. You know, assuming that whatever Gunjan, Govind, Harsh and Alvin have spoken, that there are, great amount of bridges getting built, partnerships getting built, and we have a, lot of reciprocation going on, and the so-called, perceived gaps are getting plugged, etc. Do you think there are any metrics that we can devise, or do you think the metrics exist as we speak today, as to really track that are we really making progress on these parameters?
See, there are multiple matrices, right, that organization track. Like I had the campus for WNS, so I look at the number of people that I have offered and how many have joined. That is one of the matrices, right? That is one. Second is the quality of hire, right? Now, you also get feedbacks after a certain time from the business, right? Which students are doing pretty well. So that again is one of the matrices which talks about, okay, X institute, students are doing pretty well. So this is one institute that I need to target next year as well, right? We look for attrition as a matrix, right? Which college students are staying with the organization for whatsoever period of time, right? That again becomes one of the parameters to whether visit a campus next year or not, right? And yes, if you're into research and publications kind of collaborations, that number of patents filed, right? How many research have been published, right? Then we also look at the ROI of the campus programs that we are running.
Yeah, I was very keen to understand that piece, that do we track revenue generated?
Yes, we do that as well, and one of the best practices that we are following in terms of campus programs is we run a program, we call it as talent creation program. So what we do is whatever business horizontals wants to hire freshers from campus, right? Now, the leadership have a very clear mindset. I want train and hire kind of a model, right? So I want a trained resource from campus. If you can get for me, I am ready to hire. So we have developed co-curriculums for all our business units and with the help of our learning and development teams.
Okay.
That curriculums has been given to the colleges which we are partnering with. Their faculty makes the content around it. They've been trained by our trainers on those modules. Then those faculties are training the students. Now if I talk about BTech students, they are trained in the 5th semester, the entire 5th semester, along with the module that they are doing for their campus, right? There's an additional module that they go through basis our requirement, right? And in the beginning of the 6th semester, we pick up people as interns and we put them under naps and nats, again where we save money and we pay them stipend.
So do we publish these metrics somewhere to the academic side as well, that this is how
No.
we are tracking progress
No.
of our partnership with you? I mean, that's what I was trying to bring the discussion to. There's got to be more transparent in nature to the academic side as well.
See, going back to them again and again every year is a testament of it, right? That the students are doing pretty well. That is one, right? When we talk about our internal, yes, we do see that. We do, like in the talent creation program, a very recent matrices that we see, whatever students that we are hiring under this train and hire program, 88% of them are still with the organization for 3 years. So that again talks about the success of the program, right? That you should invest in such programs for other business units as well. So we are doing this in MBA space, we are doing it in graduate hiring space, we are doing it in technology space. So this is one practice that is going on.
Okay, that's very heartening. Okay, in the interest of time, we'll move pretty quickly. Now, last just couple of quick questions, and anybody can take that question, is are there any opportunities of co-creating knowledge bases between the industry and the academic side? Can we look at co-creating platforms of any kind?
So we have already done that. We are sharing those platforms with the faculties at college. So whatever modules are being taught to the students in person by the faculties, right? There's also an online module of it. The students and faculties both have an access to go through that.
See, the question really was how we can move beyond a very transactional kind of relationship into more symbiotic and more inclusive relationship where we have opportunities for students to get exposed to, let's say, for example, the industries are very globalized in approach, globalized in nature. Are there any opportunities for the students to be also getting opportunities to go abroad to get exposure and get broader, broaden their perspectives?
I don't think so that will happen till the time students have something really meaty to offer. I'll share my example. We went to IIM Calcutta in 2022 and we were able to pitch ourselves as one of the leading companies who's working on AI and ML. And we hired only 2 or 3 folks whom we were paying stipend. But beyond that, there were 15 students from same IIM Calcutta who was working as unpaid interns also. Okay. So the hunger and in terms of the meaning to get real exposure to that kind of learning will still happen unpaid. I think Govind, जब 3 pillar में थे तब वो revenue model discuss नहीं करते थे, अब CEO हो गए तो discuss करने लगे. So in terms of, for students, let's keep the focus right. Don't focus on the first salary that you're getting, focus on the last salary that you will generate. It could be the CEO or the HOD that you get. So there are organizations, obviously कोई organization charity नहीं कर रही है आपको hire करके. We have always said that in terms of हम यहाँ पे आए हैं. So I think one of the other things, Mac, is like Hemant would have been in a discussion with all of us for some time. And I don't know after how many discussions, how many WhatsApp, how many calls or missed call that we are finally here. This is where the relationship starts. This is where we really get to know what the kind of hunger that students have, whether it really makes sense for me to collaborate with this institute and take it further. So all these are also real-time metrics for the institute, which may not have any ranking or accreditation per se, but will really move fast. We have launched one of the programs for one of the leading universities in Punjab, wherein we are saying that it's a co-sponsored program in UX design. And I heard many organizations like AI and ML BTech courses have been launched with them. That gives a lot of footing and learning for students. When I'm invested in terms of co-hosting or collaborating at that level, then there are all kind of exposures also available.
That's very heartening to know. Okay, so one final question in the interest of time now. Alvin, you actually touched upon in your answer some time back about really the requisition of some skills which are beyond the technical skills, right? What are those skills? Let's talk a little bit about them. What exactly are the success mantra for the students sitting there that, okay, you can get a technical degree, but what else will make you successful in the corporate landscape?
So I think one of the things we were also discussing with some students while we were having coffee, in terms of how original are you? You know, एक replica hai, everything is available on Insta, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn. How original? What is so unique about you that a recruiter or any organization will interest? How can you appear more unique on your CV? Are you collaborative? I know our whole education system makes someone more individualistic. How best can you collaborate? Can you work as a team player? Do you have compassion? Are you real time, can practice empathy? Can you really understand what other is thinking? And as a coder also, can you really understand the user mindset and then integrate that back in the code that you're doing? So these kind of collaboration, compassion, passion, curiosity are the real-time words and things that organizations are looking for. And while we talk, we are in discussion in one of the psychometric creators that is there a test on curiosity that we can create? So we are real-time looking for those kind of things if you have it, and that's a differentiator compared to कि हर एक का 90% आता है आज की डेट में तो. So I'm trying to look for in terms of what are the differentiators.
In fact, talking about curiosity, just reminded of the CEO of Zerodha's comments some time back. He says, I hire for curiosity. I actually analyze the curiosity level of the person who wants to come on board with us. So, in fact, this is very close to my heart that, I actually get paid for that. I make a living out of that. I'm a coach on the soft skills side primarily. So, how about emotional quotient? How you can navigate, let's say, conflicts within the corporate landscape, right? We need to have skills around that. Don't you think so? We need to develop emotional. Anybody wants to kind of touch on that? Conflict management, crisis management, problem solving, creative thinking.
And even financial management for that matter, in terms of how to deal with money, how to manage money, all those things. And obviously concentration. जब मैं पूरा life, पूरा रात अपना reels पे लगा देता हूँ, I really hardly interact with people. I really can't, and that's I got to know about Infosys and TCS, that while they inducted a new batch for good 3 weeks, they taught them culture and etiquette in terms of how to deal with people. And trust me, it's from, my daughter is in class 10th now, since 9, school is becoming obsolete. हमारी personality जब 9, 10th, 11th, 12th में बनती थी, वो इतना important phase होता था when somebody used to really discover themselves. Those things are not happening in schools anymore. And in college also suddenly, and then you start imbibing in terms of how to interact with other, and then people are giving you points across that. While I was asking कितना percentage आ रहा है. So I think that's where we can start working on, and those things are really, really missing.
Great. Thank you for your comments, gentlemen and lady. One question I have, very curious question for the academy, if anybody wants to kind of take that up and may help us to kind of some sort of insight. Can we try and create and foster a culture of entrepreneurship within the student base? India is becoming the startup capital of the world, and there's so many unicorns getting made out of India. So, do we have a culture of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship within VIPS at this time, or do you think it's a valid input from anybody of us that we should actually have that culture if we don't have that culture right now? Students can be actually allowed to fail. I mean, that's how the entrepreneurs really, stand up in their feet. They are encouraged to a certain extent. They put in resources, they fail, they learn from the failures, and then they restart the whole project. And then they go all the way from the learnings. So if that kind of culture can be brought about, that will help, I think, the students to get better prepared for future. Okay, so one final thing from the students now. If anybody wants to ask any question from your side, to the panel. Feel free, it's your opportunity. If you had, let's say, a magic wand in your hand, what would you do with that, like a Harry Potter to plug the gap? Anybody wants to say anything on that?
Hello. Very good afternoon to all the respected chief guests. First of all, thank you so much for your valuable words and the insights that you have provided to us. We are very much glad for that. And my basic question is that currently I'm in 4th semester, and in a couple of months I will be a pre-final year student. So my main question is that there is a lot of technology that exists that we are very much curious to learn. For example, be it AI, be it machine learning, be it data science. So as a pre-final year student, should we be more focused on learning specific tech, for example, data science or AI, so that we will be mastering that? Or should we try, should we still try all the technology that exists as a trial basis? Like there is a quote that jack of all trades and master of none. So should we more focus on being of the master, or should we be more focused on being the jack? So that's the question.
Anybody from the industry?
What's your name, sorry?
Piyush Raj, sir.
So Piyush, I think there are a couple of things I would say to you. One is that from a technology perspective, technology is going very technology agnostic. So today what you see, you won't see tomorrow. So I think what you need to focus first of all is on the fundamentals. Irrespective of whatever technology or language that you are going to use, if your programming logic techniques are good, I think you will be able to survive with any technology that comes, right? And in the era where a lot of chat GPTs and DeepSeek can also write codes, I think writing codes might become a task that might not be considered the premium one. But what will be considered premium is that whether you are able to apply those logics in what you're doing. So that's point number one. The two is that I think you need to have expertise on some technology. And I'm not saying that you should become expert of that technology for a whole your life. You can change, like today, if it is AI, ML. I don't know if 3 years back I would have been talking to you, must be even talking about AI, ML. You must be talking about something Java or something else, right? So you have to become expert of something for sure, and that should keep changing depending upon what's the latest technology. But at the same time, you should have a fair good idea of what other technologies are in that ecosystem. Right? You can't learn everything, right? But in the ecosystem of what your expertise is, you should have a fair good understanding, so that when there is a conversation happening around that, you will be able to understand what you're talking and how to use those tools that are within that ecosystem of your expertise area. How can you use them and leverage them in your expertise area? So that's what I would say.
All right, thank you so much.
Very quickly, we are out of time.
Can I also answer?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. So you said jack of all trades and master of none, right? So I would say be master of one, right? And have a knowledge of other technologies as well at the same time. Do focus when you're applying for any organization. I'm very sure you look at the job description too, right? Do look at the job description, probably learn around it, and then do that. But more than technical skills, I would advise it to everybody to have a good knowledge of soft skills. Codes can be written by ChatGPT. But soft skills, which is problem solving, adaptability, and whatnot, AI cannot replace that. So it's important for you to have good understanding of those things. Then technical knowledge is definitely required, because you would have to clear your first round of interview with the help of technical knowledge. But more than that, your focus should be, I think, on soft skills. That's my personal piece of advice, which is definitely at free of cost.
Adding to what my colleagues mentioned, great, big round of applause yaar, come on, ताली तो बजा दो यार. देखो simple सी बात है, right? It's not a reverse mechanism. आप बोलते हैं ना जैसे एक छोटी सी बात की यार question में answer छुपा है. Very simple. When you took admission in the college, सारे subjects से ना, just recall in your flash memory of when you took admission and you started to appear for a semester exam. कितने का होता है semester? 6 months. What it happens? That you learn everything, and the test term is that you give your exams after completion of 6 months. तो वो journey travel कर रहे हो ना, so you have prepared in all these things into certain semesters altogether. जैसे जैसे semester का journey आगे travel करते हो, it becomes niche, isn't it? So that is the answer to the question. Right? Got it? That your conceptual understanding should be very strong, and lately, when that conceptual understanding is strong, you can just move ahead with certain things which you can make it niche, right? And I'll not conclude, I'll just make बड़ा अच्छा dialogue याद आ रहा है, बताऊं? चलेगा? Okay. So it's not about bridging the gap. It's all about creating that super highway wherein toolbox and textbooks can come together, and it can be so bright that we would be needing sunglasses to attain it all and to do it all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone in the panel, the distinguished panelists. Now, a wonderful discussion with you guys. I think the idea was to kind of bring about and bring home on the point that there is more cooperation. Sorry, more questions? I don't think we have time for any more questions, do you think? We can take another question? Okay, so another question at the back.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I have a question and a point for the technical roles that interview happens for the technical roles. So the first step for the technical roles is that the OA happens, right? So they check our technical skills and everything. Then the interview happens, technical interview. So I have a point and a question. The point is that if I have seen many people, they solve everything and still they get rejected. So I don't really understand the point of rejecting candidates when they solve the question. I think the part lies in the soft skills. There's something missing in the soft skills. So how do companies, check those soft skills in a 45 minutes interview? And the point is that even if we get rejected, I think it is slightly impossible for the companies to give the feedback to the candidates, but it is somehow necessary to give the feedback to the candidates. I have personally asked companies to give me the feedback as to why I was rejected if all of the test cases was cleared, and also the technical problems I've solved. The interviewer said that yes, you are a type of candidate we are looking for. So the company said that you shouldn't question our decision. You have check mark the box that you will not question the decision the company will make.
Okay. I'll take it up. So, see, first of all, when any organizations, right, visit your campus for any opportunity, the first step is the online assessment.
Yeah.
Right? When you are able to clear that online assessment, some basic knowledge around it, then comes your interview.
Yes.
Right? So, interview is all about your basic conceptual knowledge, right? When you talk about technical interview, now technical interviewer also look at your behavioral soft skills as well. Soft skills comprises of a lot of factors. Comm skills is the most important coming out of it, right? These days, how technically good you are, if you're not good in comm skills, and if you have to be thrown into a client-facing role, the company might not pick up. If they have some back-end job roles wherein you have to just interact internally, they may pick you, right? But then it becomes a challenge where the people doesn't have good comm skills. Attitude is something that the interviewers look at, right? The way you are talking, right? The entire personality of yours, that is very important. Organization can train you on any skill, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? But they can't train your attitude. So that again becomes a very important factor for them to look at. Your energy and enthusiasm is very important. That is again an important factor why companies would like to hire freshers, right? Because the kind of energy they bring on the table, right, is something which at times lagged by somebody when you hire laterally, right? Because that person comes with a lot of baggage from previous organizations. So these 4 or 5 things, if they are not in place at the time of interview, if you are even more nervous, right? Being nervous is fine, but then if you are that much nervous that it is impacting your entire interview, then again, you lose out of it. So at times, whatever you solve, right, technically, but if you're not check box all these parameters, personality-wise or soft skills-wise, so that is the reason when you lose it. And the last point wherein you should be open to ask feedbacks. There is nothing wrong about asking feedbacks, right? Again, it's on the will of the companies whether they want to share it or not, but then there is no harm in terms of requesting for a feedback so that you can improve on those areas.
And if you ticked all the boxes, what Rohan has just said, block the company and never apply for it again. There are so many companies who would definitely value your talent and would definitely at least tell you the actual reason of rejection. Simple.
So why do you think companies hire? why people like us are there in campuses to hire, because we also have targets. हमें आपसे कुछ personally तो है ही नहीं. We have to fill our position. If you are an eligible candidate, we are more than happy to hire you. And I think, but it also comes from an entitlement. I'm sorry to say that this generation feels कि मेरा 100% क्यों नहीं आया? मम्मी पापा केजी नर्सरी में पहुंच जाते हैं जी, मेरे बच्चे को आपने सेंटर वाला रोल क्यों नहीं दिया था, वो साइड में क्यों खड़ा था. This also comes from in terms of why waste your time in terms of asking this question. And trust me, though there are a lot of people who will give you feedback, but I also feel for those who will not, because interview is not the process wherein I'm there to give you feedback. I'm here to map you against the requirement that I have or a template of hiring that I have. If you match that requirement, good enough. And I'm not there to identify weaknesses in you. I'm trying to figure out the strengths that you have which will match my template and hire accordingly. So there's no point giving you feedback, because if I give you a feedback like कि आपने Java आपको नहीं आती, आप कभी कोड कर ही नहीं सकते, will that feedback help you or will destroy you forever?
Yeah, it will destroy.
Right, so there are nothing encouraging to say there, because there are 100 people who are applying for that position. There could be 10 others who have done better than you, as simple as that. So don't waste. विराट कोहली इसलिए नहीं बना कि उसने ये सोचा कि मुझे आपने रणजी में मना कर दिया, यहाँ पे मना कर दिया. They kept on focusing, sharpening their saw and becoming better. So let's focus on what we can do. There are 10 reasons. Trust me, no recruiter has any grudge with anybody who's there. They also have to close their position and move ahead. अगर आप अच्छे थे, आपको क्यों नहीं hire करेगा? कोई भी करेगा. That's not the reason.
So means we should keep going and keep.
Absolutely, you have no other choice. You have no other choice. कि नहीं जी, मैं तो इन्हीं से नौकरी लेकर रहूँगा, मैं जाऊँगा ही नहीं सर, आप ही दो मुझे.
Exactly, sir.
और इसका एक दूसरा पर्सपेक्टिव पता क्या है? Honestly, I don't know how many of us would agree. When you highlight these kind of things and these kind of feedback, trust me, if I talk about me and my colleagues, this makes us more conscious. अगर आगे ऐसे होने वाला है, पता है बहुत बार क्या होता है? You know, it's all circumstantial and situational. आपके साथ शायद ऐसा हुआ, fine. And you know, when these kind of topics have been brought in this kind of forum, then this also, we are not superhumans. We are also human beings, right? So it's all about that. This also makes us conscious to think through and can try to hold a better experiencing next time. You know, believe me, and this is also important. So good that you have brought up this point. Adding up to what my colleagues mentioned, so it's all about move on, come on. It's not about restarting in. भाई वहाँ पर pause किया है, उसको continuity में लेके जाओ यार, come on. It's never the end to it. Simple.
Thank you
You're
so
right.
much.
Thank you.
All right, can we conclude now? Finally, thank you very much, everybody. I think we just showed the importance of the topic and that the topic is so close to everybody's hearts. So definitely, thanks so much for your inputs, everybody on the panel. I think the more important thing for all of us to realize is that here is the journey that has to begin, which should be more responsive towards each other's side. We should have the collaboration as a norm and not as an exception, actually. And that's what I think the industry and the academia side should work towards, right? And finally, I think the point that hit home to everybody, I think, was the focus to develop your soft skills. In fact, there was a Twitter comment by the CEO of smallest.ai. He says, it's not the degree, it's the delivery that matters, right? So keep that in mind. Of course, you're doing the best thing right now for yourselves, getting fantastic education, so keep that in your bag. You are at the advantageous position. At the same time, develop the other skills to become unbeatable as a product, as an asset to any organization. Thank you again for your time. Thank you again for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you, Malik, for a great moderation. Thank you very much.
By the way, they're all calling me Mac for something, for some reason, I don't know, but I must share the secret behind it. I think somewhere down the line, my name has got twisted completely. From Manmohan became Mac Mohan, and only Mac stayed now. So that's the story behind it.
Mac was a villain in older times.
I think C was replaced with N.
Sorry?
N was replaced with C.
Yeah.
That is all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to our moderator, Mr. Malik, for expertly guiding this insightful discussion, and to all our panelists for sharing your profound expertise. Your collective wisdom has given us actionable strategies to better align academic preparations with industry needs. Thank you so much. May I now request Professor Nidhi Sharma, Dean Applied Sciences, and Dr. Nihar Ranjan Roy, HOD CSE to join us on stage to felicitate the guests. I would request Professor Nidhi Sharma to come forward and felicitate our moderator, Mr. Manmohan Malik.
This is a gift for you, sir. This is by our chairman, sir. He was fantastic photographer.
Now I would request humbly our Nihar Ranjan Roy, Dr. Nihar Ranjan Roy to felicitate Mr. Govind Negi.
Thank you, sir, for coming and sharing your experiences with our students. Definitely they will feel motivated and it will help them.
May I request now Dr. Anand Kumar Singh, HOD Electronics, and Dr. Adil Ashmi to come on stage to do the felicitation of the guests further. I request Dr. Anand to felicitate Mr. Alvin David. I request Dr. Adil Hashmi to felicitate Mr. Harsh Raj Jain. Now I would request Professor Mamta Madan and Dr. Bharti Seth to come forward and do the felicitation of the guests. I request Professor Mamta Madan to come forward and felicitate Ms. Gunjan Mishra. may I request Bharti Seth to felicitate our guest, Mr. Rohan Kumar Sudun. Thank you so much. I would humbly request all the faculty members present here and guests to come on stage and join us for one group photograph.
Thanks to him.
Ma'am, please.